They sent me a full video of my wife's infidelity. It can't be true, they spent the night together. I still can't believe my eyes, but if it was just a dream, I would have woken up long ago. But no, this is reality. This is a real video that I can't erase from my memory. I don't know how it happened. How did I let this happen? And why him? My wife's acquaintance with James, my closest friend and the godfather of our children, was always carefree. They knew each other since university, celebrated our weddings together, watched football together, drank beer and we were laughing. I could never have imagined that betrayal could come from him, someone I considered a brother. But here it is, this video. Their bodies are tangled, their faces are masks of passion, and this moment will forever remain before my eyes. I don't believe it really happened. This is not just a physical betrayal. It is also a moral betrayal. How could my wife, whom I loved, share my most intimate moment with someone I trusted the most? I can't say what I feel now. Pain. Yes, but more disappointment. I sit in the dark, remembering every detail of that video, every look, every movement. They didn't just spend a night together. They were together in every sense of the word. I know that everything has a meaning, and it's not just an accident. This betrayal was not accidental. It was thought out. Everything in my life now feels empty. I want to understand why this happened. Why did she choose him? Maybe she always felt something for him. Maybe I didn't notice something. But I will not sit and wait. I want to understand who they are and why they changed everything I loved so easily. This is not just an insult. This is a war. And I already know how I will take revenge. This is just the beginning. I keep watching them, like a trapper patiently waiting for the moment when the prey will fall into his trap. I've become like a detective, always trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Alia does not realize that her life now depends on every step. I know that I need to leave her in the illusion of security so that she starts to relax. To make her feel that I don't know the truth. I want her to think that all her little tricks and manipulations are undiscovered. But I know everything. The more I watch her, the more I realize how good she was at hiding her true intentions. She was always careful, almost cautious. Her emotional instability was just a mask to keep me from noticing her changes. She was cunning, but not. I'm cautious enough. Everything around me suddenly takes on meaning. Unexpected calls, her conversations in the kitchen with James when she thought I was in the other room. She was always close to him, even when we were out together as a family. I add another element to my plan. If I want to bring Alia out in the open, I need to push her to the point where she can't lie. She starts to notice my questions. At first, they were just everyday details, like joking inquiries, like, how did you spend your day, or, what's new with Alexei? But each question begins to create cracks in her peace of mind. She tries to act anxious, but I notice how her responses are starting to sound less natural. Her jokes, her smiles, all of it has become more forced. She tries to keep up a wall, but I can see her movements, those quick glances at her phone when I get too close, mixed with a sudden question about what I'm doing with her things in the closet. This only confirms my suspicions. She senses that something is going wrong, but she doesn't realize how deeply I'm digging. She thinks she's left enough. I don't give her enough space for herself. She thinks I don't notice her little changes, her avoidant glances. I decide to take one more step. I install a program to monitor her phone calls and messages. This is not just a technical step. It's a way to drag her secrets into the light. I get access to her correspondence with James, and there I see confirmation of all my worst suspicions. They arrange surprises for me, places where they can be alone. And it all looks so familiar, so carefree, as if they are doing nothing wrong. With each new correspondence, I feel my patience has reached its limit. She thinks that I still see her as a woman who loves me. But she forgot that I can change just like she can. Now I am no longer the same man I was before this betrayal. And this is becoming her biggest nightmare. I am starting to move towards my ultimate goal. Not through her face, not through her tears. I know that I have to approach her in a way that she can't deny. So I am. I'm preparing another move, to make sure she sees everything and realizes that her betrayal will not go unchallenged. I know the time has come. She doesn't realize that I am ready to snatch from her everything she has so carefully hidden. I continue to follow her every step, every little thing. All these moments that she thought were invisible are now part of the bigger picture that I am putting together. I know that every movement is important, that every look or carefree word now plays a role in my plan. I need to act very carefully. I cannot give her a chance to deny or justify herself. All I have is the truth, and that truth will make her see everything that happened from a different perspective. Instead of throwing all the cards on the table at once, I start playing with her feelings. Those who fall into a trap often don't realize they're in it until it's too late. Alya is becoming more withdrawn. She can't hide from me that something has changed, even if she tries to look calm. Her phone is always by her side, she doesn't take her eyes off it, and when I approach her, she even pushes it aside a little, as if she's trying to hide her life. This is the moment when I start to feel my determination grow. I realize that nothing will be the same as before. Alya doesn't know that I know everything yet. She begins to. She's worried, but she can't understand why. I don't have to ask her right away. I don't have to create a conflict. I play her game. And now she starts to notice changes in my behavior. It's not for nothing. I know that her nerves will not hold out, and at some point she will start making mistakes. She will become more cautious, start asking me more about my emotions, asking if I'm okay. Every move she makes, every reaction she has, I record it in my head as stages of a big plan. Her fear only strengthens my resolve. I feel my inner control growing. And this is the moment I've been waiting for. I begin to confidently control the situation, to ask questions in a way that she can't just turn around and say it's not true. I set a trap. As soon as Alya leaves her phone on the table, I don't hesitate to grab it. Now that I have access to her correspondence, she can't hide anymore. I read the correspondence with James, and everything I see confirms my worst suspicions. This is not just proof of her betrayal. This is payback. Her words, their plans, their future, all of it is laid out before me. And the more I read, the more I feel this plan starting to work. She can no longer justify her actions. They dreamed of a future together. Her talk about being together with him, about how they wanted to be only with him, about all these little plans they made in the shadows, are now becoming obvious to me. I decide to take full advantage of this information. I know that now Alya no longer has a chance to escape from me. She must see that her lies and manipulations have become my strength. I will not just destroy her. I will destroy her sense of security. She thinks she can hide the truth, that she can win this battle. But I already have everything. I have not just the proof of her betrayal. I have her soul, I have her choice. Now that all these cards are laid out, my only goal is to make her choose. This is not just revenge. This is something she needs to experience. She has to see everything she has built fall apart before her eyes. My revenge begins. And it won't be quick. It will be slow, cold, and she will not be able to run away from this choice. I remember how Alya and I used to sit in the kitchen in our old apartment, laughing and drinking coffee in the morning. She was always so carefree, stubborn, and I sincerely believed that we would go through everything together, through all the difficulties, through time, through problems. But now I realize that everything was just a facade. If she had really been with me, and not with James, she would have noticed how the atmosphere in the house changed, how I became less happy. But she didn't. She didn't notice because she was only interested in James. The plan I've been hatching is now almost ready to be implemented. I'm arranging a meeting with James. Oh, it's going to be a culminating moment. He thinks he has everything under control. And Alia probably thinks I don't know what's going on. They all believe that everything is under the mask of normalcy. And I'm ready to tear it. I found a way to make sure that Alia would learn about her betrayal not from me, but from James himself. This will be one more step towards not just breaking her, but making her make a necessary choice. If she wants to be with him, let it be more than just a one-night stand. Let it be a real conflict, a real price. I arrange with James to meet at one of the cafes where we used to discuss everything that happened in our lives. I will tell him that I know about their relationship. I won't beat him up, no, I'll do something more sneaky. Instead, I will put on a public show at the meeting so that he realizes that he is missing out on more than he realizes. James is the first to arrive. He has the same self-assurance in his eyes that I've always seen. It looks like he has no doubt that he has the right to be with Ola. I don't reveal my cards right away. At first, I just drink coffee, quietly listening to his dirty talk about how everything will change, how they will be together, how it was natural. Now I know that this moment will be critical. 10 minutes later, I put her correspondence with him on the table. All it takes is the push of a button on my phone. It's all on video. I check to see if the camera in the corner is recording what I have hidden in my coffee cup and feel goosebumps run up my skin. James is frozen in place when he sees the text message. "What is it?" he says, shaking his head. I don't answer. I just put the cup on the table and look him in the eye. His expression changes for a moment, but he tries to remain calm. "I know," I say, trying for the first time to summon all my inner strength, "I know everything, James. And I know that you've already lost more than you realize." James starts to get nervous, his voice becomes firm, but he tries to sound convincing. "You have no right, you don't even know what's going on. It's none of your business." I stand up and pick up the phone, looking at the screen. He sees his own words, sees how they plan to run away together. "I have always been your friend," I say. "You had a choice. But instead, you chose. I decided to follow my own will and lose everything. Alia, our friendship, and his dignity." It hits him hard. He stops talking, and for a moment I see his face disappear into the shadows of despair. But this is not enough. This is only the beginning. Every word I say sounds like the last blow of a hammer on hot iron. James sits in front of me, powerless, and I can see his fresh, confident face slowly losing its self-assurance. He starts to get nervous, his eyes searching for a way out, but nothing will help. All he can do now is try to close himself up. He is about to say something, but I interrupt him. "That's enough, James," I say with a cold smile. "You've said it all with your actions. Now I want to hear the truth from you. Know that I am recording every word you say." His eyes widen. He tries to find the right words, but again, he is silent, as if he is hesitating. I manage to take a few pictures with my phone to make sure his reaction is recorded. And at that moment I feel a certain satisfaction. It's not just revenge. This is my catharsis. I feel like all this pain, anger, and sadness, has been building up like a dam before an explosion. "I know everything," I repeat, holding the phone in front of his face. "You and Alia decided that I was not worthy of your honesty. But that's your mistake. Now you have to explain it." He tries to gather his strength, even denies it for a moment. "You've got it all wrong. It's not what you think it is." I can hardly stop myself from laughing in his face. He still doesn't realize that he is trapped. That it is I, and only I, who have the power here. "It's not your decision, James. You chose Alia, but now you're choosing between me and her. And it's going to be a hard choice, believe me. Ola will know what you said. About your plans. And not just her. Everyone will. I need him to feel that his life, his image, his friendship with me, all of this is now in serious danger. But this is not enough. This whole situation will not end with a verbal battle. I am fully focused on doing everything I can to make sure that Alya sees the truth about his hypocrisy and how he used her. It turns out that I don't just want to reveal the betrayal, I want her to feel her world crumbling, her idealized world simply disappearing. I put my phone in video mode and pressed the record button. James, who was so confident of his victory a moment ago, is now silent. He realizes that the game has moved to another level. It's all your show from now on, James, I say, keeping the. Alya needs to see this. She needs to understand who is really standing in front of her. I will give her everything so that she can see your betrayal with her own eyes. James tries to get closer to take the phone, but I pull my hand to the side and set it on the table so that the camera records everything. I give him a chance to think again. If you want to close this chapter, I say, make the right choice. Answer my questions. I want to hear the truth. I know he will not give me this answer. Instead, he chooses silence. He keeps his head down, and I can see him struggling with himself. It's not his game anymore. Now he is just a doll in my hands. The only thing left for me to do was to provide Alya with all the evidence. I walk out of the cafe, leaving him sitting in the place where it all began. No, this is not the end. This is just part of my big revenge. I'm standing on the street, where the late autumn sun is setting behind the horizon. I feel a coldness in my hands that penetrates to my bones, but this time it is not just physical discomfort. It's a feeling I've decided to accept as part of my new self. My revenge is gaining momentum, and I feel it becoming more and more inevitable with every step. Alya and I have spent more than a decade together, but in these few months I have realized how lack of trust and irreversibility change everything. Every step, every song of hers about how everything will be fine, how we will overcome difficulties together, now seems like just a spoonful in their ocean of lies. I don't just want her to suffer. No, I want her to experience every moment of this betrayal as I did. The feeling of being completely torn apart, when you don't know how to get back to what was before. This is not just a psychological catastrophe for her. This is a nuclear explosion. And now, as I get into my car, I get a new message on my phone. It's a video. Not the video from the cafe, no. It's a video that James took during his night with Ola. I can see their faces, hear her laugh, and see them kissing. How happy she seems to be with him. All these moments that she never showed me. She doesn't even realize that I have this video. She actually believes that I don't know about their nights. Now I will use this footage. I know that the next step is to make sure that this video gets to her. But I want to make it as painful as possible. Alya won't just be watching a video. She will see how I, the man she betrayed, decided to use that betrayal against her. I send the video to her phone from another account so that she can't. To understand who did it. Alya immediately receives a notification. She picks up the phone and clicks on the video, not realizing that this is the moment when her world will become a crack. I believe that she will start watching this video without even realizing that it will change everything. My hand trembles as I press send. I can hear my heart beating faster and faster as I wait for a response. How will she take it all? How will I make her recognize everything I've been through? How do I make her feel this moment? I drive away without looking back. Now I'm just waiting for her to realize that her worst nightmares have come true. A few hours later, I get a reply. Alya wrote to me, "What is this? Are you filming me?" There is no accusation in her message, no words of indignation. There is only confusion and despair. I see her trying to understand what happened, but it's too late. I decide to give her time to think, to see that her life is now in my hands. I can even imagine her sitting in the apartment, watching the footage of James kissing her, of her body intertwined with his, of him essentially taking her away from me. I think the next step is to finally recognize her guilt. But for this I will make one more move. I will send her one message. Just one. Come home, we'll talk. And that's it. No more explanations. No backtracking. She cannot escape from this. I had a hard time sleeping that night. I sat in the darkness of my room, wondering what would happen when Alya came home. Her messages were not long in coming, one single phrase, but it could mean everything. "What is this?" she asked when she saw the video. I knew she couldn't understand who had actually sent it. She probably felt fear, but also anger. She can't get used to the fact that her secrets have become mine. But now I have her on the hook. And I know for sure that now she's. Decisions will be difficult, because everything she is used to suddenly falls apart. I sit there waiting for her to come home. Every minute seems like an eternity. I think about everything, our family, our children, how we used to laugh together, and how it has all turned into a disaster now. But I know that I don't even. I was thinking about it when she chose him over me. She broke the rules we set together. Then she comes in. Alya doesn't say a word when she enters the apartment. She undressed, trying to look calm, but her eyes give away what she is trying to hide. I see panic in them and, I think, doubt. She doesn't know how to react, because I didn't give her any room to lie. Everything became obvious and direct. She puts her bag on the floor and tries to find the words, but I already know she won't say anything. She is waiting for me to speak first. "What was that?" Her voice trembles a little, but she tries to stay cool. Alya sees that I am calm. And that scares her the most. I slowly get up, keeping my posture in mind, and stand in front of her. Her face is closer than ever, and I feel my heart start to beat faster. "Do you really want to know?" I ask, not raising my voice. "I sent you this video, Alya. And now I want to hear your answer." She presses her lips together. I see her hands involuntarily clench into fists. She probably wants to look strong, but she can't hide her weakness. I hear her take a deep breath before she speaks. "It's not what you think. I didn't mean for this to happen. It wasn't what I had planned. I can't listen to her lies anymore. This moment has gone on for too long. Now it has to end, and I have to let her know that everything that happened was her choice, her decision, and I'm not going to take it anymore." "I don't believe you, Alya," I say, squeezing every word out like poison. "You betrayed me. And you did it with James. You made a choice, and now we're going to deal with the consequences." She looks away, as if she is looking for a way out of a situation she cannot justify. Her face turns red with shame. I know that she realizes that I will not back down. "I loved you," she answers quietly, without emotion, "and it all happened because of us. Because we became strangers to each other. I was alone. And James, he was the one who understood me. This is where I feel the pain. It's not just her betrayal. It's deeper than that. She blames me for what happened. She is actually asking me why I didn't notice her alienation earlier. She wants me to take some of the blame for what happened. But I won't let her do that. "You have no right to blame me," I say, coming closer. "You chose this path yourself. You chose it when I trusted you. And now you want to. For me to justify you. So that I can understand your needs. Have you forgotten what we were building?" I feel like my patience is almost at its limit. She looks like a trapped animal trying to find an excuse for her actions. I give her an ultimatum. "Alya, you have made a choice. And now you will feel this choice. You will live with the consequences. And it doesn't matter how much you want to fix it. You and James both need to understand that I will not let this go. Now her eyes fill with tears. I know it's not just guilt. This is despair. And at this moment I realize, it was the right revenge. She needs to know that these tears are the result of her own choice. My hand suddenly clenched into a fist. I can feel the anger flaring up inside me, and it can no longer leave me indifferent. I stand in front of her, looking at her eyes, the same eyes in which I once saw hope, trust, and love. Now they are filled with betrayal, fear, and an attempt to explain. Impossible. Alia tries to gather herself, tries to speak, but her voice sounds shaky. She wants to say something, but no words can justify what happened. Mikola, please. Her voice breaks. I can feel her backing away, as if she's trying to hide from me, and I'm not going to save her anymore. Not please. You don't have the right to ask me for anything, I reply, increasing the distance between us. I feel cold. My body shrinks, like someone who caught himself thinking that this night and this conversation could change everything I had ever known. My hand trembles, but not from pain. It trembles with anger. I can feel him. Overwhelms me. I don't need any explanations. Her betrayal has already settled in me, and I have no intention of forgiving it. Do you think that your loneliness will justify your behavior? I'm getting closer. You didn't cheat on me because I didn't notice, but because it was convenient for you, right? James gave you what you needed but couldn't find in me. Yeah, I know that. In her eyes, I see something I did not expect, not just despair. I see shame, and that is her biggest fear. She doesn't want me to know the truth. She is afraid that I will not. I didn't think I would just find out about the betrayal, but that I would realize how much she devalued me. She thought that I would not find out, that all this would remain in her little world and never go beyond it. But now it has. Mikola, I didn't know it would turn out like this, she says, her voice, I didn't think it would be like this. I didn't know that you would know. She tries to take my hand, but I push her away, as if this simple gesture could contaminate me even more. She approaches me, but I am no longer. I want to touch her. She will try to apologize, as everyone does when they realize their defeat for the first time, but it won't help now. Did you think I was weak? I ask, approaching her so that our faces are almost close. There is fatigue in her eyes. This is not shame. It's stress that she can't escape. I can see how she gets lost when I raise my voice. Made a choice, Alia, and now I'm going to destroy you. You'll be alone, and even James won't be able to save you. You don't know what you've deprived me of, but now I'm going to show you what it feels like to have everything you've built your life on destroyed by one decision. She backs away, and I see her shoulders tremble as if they are about to burst. And then, just like in the movies, when everything seems clear and close to the end, I quit. Stay. I don't care where you go. But you have to realize that I don't love you anymore. I've collected all the pieces of your lies, and now you have this. To survive. I go to the phone. I send her one last message that it's coming again, the same video file she originally received. But now I add one more piece, a text message that breaks it all down. You and James, this is your future. Now there's one more scene in this video. When you realize that you no longer have any power over my world. My hand shudders at the quiet satisfaction I feel when I press the button. The video goes back to her phone, but now it's not just them. My last gesture is there, too, the answer to all her silence, all her lies, all her attempts to shield me from the truth. Now she will see that she has lost everything, including her freedom of choice. She sees me leave her, and I know I will never come back. The silence after I leave is what breaks her the most. Alia is standing in the same room where we used to laugh, where we used to plan our future. Now all of this has become alien, as if she has just witnessed someone else's life. I have no intention of returning, but I know that my absent decision has more power than any words. I can hear her footsteps, her desperate attempts to find answers. She resorts to everything, calls, messages. She asks what happened, why I changed so much. All these meaningless questions that I'm not going to answer anymore. I want her to. I felt that she had lost not just me, but her ability to control the situation. That her little reality was falling apart before her eyes. The video I sent her reached her. And not just the video. My last manipulation of the text message came as a real shock. It's not just a video about cheating. It's a recording that became her reflection in the mirror, and she can't forget it. In this video, I added moments where Alia and I are happy, where we laugh together, where I pick her up after a long day at work, and, finally, where I learn the truth for the first time. I couldn't let her get only part of the reckoning. She had to feel every second of what I felt, every moment of the pain she brought. This time I was not the same as she knew me. I became a different person. And it was not just external changes. I stopped looking for forgiveness, I stopped having hope. I became completely cut off from her, as she was from me. When I see her next message, I realize that she is on the verge. She writes, "I understand everything. I know what I have lost. Nikolai, please forgive me." But this is not just an apology. This is her last attempt to bring back something that no longer exists. "You can't forgive yourself, Alia," I reply, "and I can't forgive you anymore. You lost me when you chose James. And now you've lost yourself, too, because you no longer have the right to choose." At this point, I feel the fire of anger go out, and a feeling of complete calm takes its place. Now I know that I am in control of this situation. Now I know for sure that Alia will not be able to escape what I have done. I didn't just leave her. I took her life, her peace, her future, and made it part of my pain. I am starting to pack my things. I need to be ready to move on again. She is no longer mine. And now every step I take takes me further away from the life we once had. But this is not the end. Alia has not yet realized that this gap is not just a distance between us. It is a whole abyss in which she will be left alone. I will not leave her any. I will not give her a chance to return. And even if she wants to come back, even if she realizes that she has lost more than she could have imagined, I will not allow her to do so. Now she is just a figure in my story. And I'm taking her off this stage forever. The following days passed in perpetual confusion, as if I was between two worlds. While I was packing my last few things and ready to leave everything behind, the question was still running through my mind: why? Why didn't I notice? Why didn't I realize when she began to move away? But now it didn't matter anymore. I was leaving everything behind, because for me, that was the best revenge: the absence of any emotions. Alia tried to call and write. Her messages became more and more frequent, with requests that turned into threats. She wanted to get back what she had lost, but I was already far away. Her choices, her betrayal, her lies, all of it hit her, and I didn't even stop to see her fall. One evening, when I was already several hours away from home, I received the last message from Alia. It was not an apology. No, it wasn't. It was her attempt to take back control. She sent me a picture of her and James hugging at some kind of celebration. It was the same smile, the same playfulness. It was like they were trying to show the world that nothing had changed. But it didn't matter anymore. All these details had no power to change the course of events. They could no longer change me. I sent her one last message. You got what you wanted. And I have nothing to do with you anymore. Your choice has become my liberation. Goodbye. And I pressed the send button. In the weeks that followed, I felt a strange peace. I did not want to destroy their lives. I did not want to turn them into ruins. Their betrayal had already done that for me. I was free, and this freedom, this absence of pain, was my greatest achievement. But there is one thing I could never understand. Why, despite all this struggle, despite all this suffering, did I not feel sad for what had once been my life? It had been an important part of my world, but now I felt only emptiness. I left everything behind, even if it was painful. My revenge was not to destroy her. My revenge was to make her live every day with the realization that she had lost everything. She lost not only me. She lost what we had, the idea of a family, of a future together. She lost her trust. And without trust, nothing exists. I had no illusions. I was free. But now I couldn't stop anymore. This moment was a new beginning for me. My revenge was not to break her. She broke herself. I was moving on. And although I didn't know what lay ahead, I knew one thing for sure: I would no longer be the same person I had been. I would no longer be someone who perceived love as devotion. I will no longer be someone who allows people to turn it into an object of manipulation. I left and never came back.